welcome back to Beyond the Sessions. This is now episode 4, right? Yeah, 4. Our guest today is our organic chemistry SI leader, Analeigha. Analeigha, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay, so I'm a biochemistry major. This is my senior year. Hopefully, I will be done by spring 2025. Do I include my hobbies or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. When I'm not doing school, which is 99% of my life, I like to.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh wait. Okay, sorry. 1%.
Yeah.
I work on cars, not by myself.
Okay.
I can't do that yet.
Okay.
And love coffee.
Okay.
I wish there was more coffee places here.
I mean, you have one on campus.
But we'll talk about that later.
We can't put that out there like that. Well, I know how I feel about it. But okay, so senior year, plus graduation. So let's go back to the beginning. What brought you to Fresno State?
Okay, so I think my biggest decision with going to Fresno State was proximity.
Okay.
Not because I can't live without my family. It's mostly because I had a lot of responsibilities at the time. Okay. So my brother had gone through some unfortunate things, and I was watching my nephew most of the time. Okay. So I think it was an easier transition from high school to college. I didn't have to go and move everything.
Right.
I knew that I can pay for what's going on here. Didn't want that to be another kind of obstacle, financial obstacle. Right. My parents had to go through, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think I just wanted to take a shot on Fresno State because you hear a lot of things, specifically in my high school, oh, I'm going as far away from here as possible. There's not a good education here. And I'm how will you know?
Right.
How will you know if you don't go? So there's a major here that I liked, kind of aligned with what I was thinking of doing, and went with it.
Okay. What's been your experience so far?
In my undergraduate, it was... Undergraduate? I am in my undergraduate. Yeah. In my first 2 years, it was kind of seamless, just because they choose your courses for you for your first year, so you're not waitlisted in anything. But as you progress, it's harder to get into classes. There's they're pushing really heavily for STEM, for people to major in STEM, and there's just no support for it. So there's barely any courses. Yeah. It's kind of harder to get into, so I would say we just need a little more love. Yeah,
we just talked about this during your registration period this week, so I know, it's a hard one admitting a lot of students and not having enough courses for students who need to graduate, right? So the next semester is your last semester. So, knowing what you know now and kind of being at a point of deciding to stay home for financial reasons. I'm sure it was also an easier transition for your family, given whatever role that you had in supporting, your family, your brother. So, given what you know now and your experience at Fresno State, would you change anything? I feel like I would have gotten out of here.
No, I don't think I would have changed anything. I just wish that people wouldn't have dissed so hard on Fresno State. There's so much to give here, and I think, okay, you know what? The only thing that I would change is just diving headfirst into things. I was really nervous doing anything for my first, 2 years. And after that, I was I'm not reaching my full potential. There's so many things that I could be a part of. And I just think that whole imposter syndrome, it's real. It's really real. And just taking the time to just try things. You can always back out. It's fine to no's a complete sentence, but then how are you gonna say that this didn't work out when you didn't try it?
Yeah. And it's taking yourself out of your comfort zone to do that, right? So if somebody's picking your classes for you, you can easily just come to campus and stuff. So, in terms of your degree, what made you interested in the first place?
Okay, so in high school, biology and chemistry were the only like classes at school that I liked.
Okay.
So I was like, why not both? So I was torn between biology and chemistry because I thought I was going to be like a lecturer. Like I wanted to teach initially. Okay. But then I found out like about all of the requirements of teaching, like all of the curriculum you have to hit. Like it's very structured. Like it's not like what you want to teach, if that makes sense. Right, like it's set by the district. Right. So
so you said, I'll go and be a doctor. That's easier.
That's a secret. That's a secret. No, I just love to serve. And I think that is what, I think being a physician, like, you can combine a lot of things. You're always going to be teaching. You're always going to be learning. You're always serving. You're working with patient population. And I think just being able to serve in that way, when people are at their most vulnerable moment, I think that's my why.
Yeah, that's awesome. What greater reason than that, right? So, in terms of, what is your plan? I mean, you're close to graduation, and I kind of already said what you wanted to do, but what is that going to look like for you post-graduation? As much as you know. I know sometimes that's a stressful question for people.
Yeah, so a lot of people emphasize like MCAT by junior year, by junior year, and then you can apply, go right into medical school. But I didn't even know that was something that like would spark my interest until last semester, or like 2 semesters ago. So I was kind of late with the whole like, hitting those, kind of the whole like pre-med path. So I think just studying for the MCAT, I want to become a patient care technician just to get some like hands-on experience with the population, have something to talk about when I go to the interviews. I don't want to be undereducated, and I feel like you need to kind of live it to talk about it. Right? Yeah. So that probably gonna continue my position with UCSF Fresno. As you know. So currently with the Office of Health Career Pathways, they support K through 16 pre-med sort of, programs. So with their Doctor's Academy program, I don't know, should I go into that?
Yeah, tell us about it. We're learning about you.
Okay, so the Doctor's Academy program is a middle school, or 7 through 12 initiative for Crothers and Sunnyside High School. They implement a lot of just medical pathway information. So they take one course in every year from middle school to high school graduation. They participate in research projects, they present, they shadow physicians. It's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing.
Right. But it's getting exposure to something, an area of interest, right?
Yeah. And they don't just like show what you need to do to become only a physician. It's like health in general, like nursing or CT tech, a lot of different pathways, because it's not just like you need to be a physician to be beneficial. You know what I mean? Like it takes a village.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, and how you balance that and your coursework, and SI is not an easy position. So why don't we kind of circle back to that? I know you talked about passion for serving. I think that shows through what it is that you're even involved with, and what your aspirations are in your field as well. So could be maybe what brought you into SI, or what made you kind of interested, and you get the emails of, hey, we're hiring for SI. So what made you, I guess, kind of take that chance on becoming an SI leader?
So I've always been like a big advocate for learning. I know it kind of comes easier to me, and I think it's frustrating to be in a position where like, you're going to class and you're getting the same resources. Maybe you're not getting the same resources as peers. You never know where people are coming from. Right. So I think just whatever that, I knew that SI would be an outlet that I can do at least one part and be a part of people's learning experience. because, you know, I've lived through taking the course, I've lived through the late nights, and I lived through sorting out how to learn. You know, every course is different, and you need to learn different for every course. So I think just applying my frustrations and helping others out, again, it comes back to serving. Like, why would I want anybody else to come after me and struggle the same way I did when I can just tell you or help you and guide you towards the money, you know?
Yeah, no, and I know that, you know, this position, it's, like you talked about, there are gaps. There's students that come in underprepared. There's students that it may come naturally easier to, and I think for you to, because sometimes that doesn't always serve well as an SI leader, because you can also have somebody who the material comes really easy, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of empathize with a student that maybe is struggling with it, and it's like you cover it a couple times and it still doesn't seem to stick. So there can be some frustration with that, but in your case, it's, you know, trying to make it a easier path for others. So I think that definitely shows. So what do you enjoy most about being an SI leader?
I think community.
Okay.
You get to engage a lot with a lot of different populations. So it's not like only the students that you're working with, but you work with staff, you work with other leaders, you work with your professor. You kind of get like the inside scoop of everything. So with like my meetings with my professor, we kind of hash things out about like what's going wrong, what can I do on my end, what can she do on her end. You know, I'm the student advocating for students. You know, I was once there. So I think just knowing, you know, teachers have, or professors have been doing this for however long, you know, so something that may seem easy to them, they're kind of like blindfolded. So like I feel like I'm able to kind of just let them know, like, hey,
it's like the reminder that,
like this is everyone's first time, especially for the introductory or the first part of organic chemistry. So just knowing specifically like what I struggled with and the patterns that I've seen with other students also struggling with the same thing, that's a really important dynamic, especially with lecture delivery. Like she'll literally adjust things. She likes feedback. So I think but yeah, overall, like the team collaboration aspect, you know, for the longest time I was scared to ask for help. I mean, not scared, but like hesitant, because I didn't want to be like a burden on other people. But all the other SI leaders are so willing to like, I need a closing, and they're like, oh, try this out. You know, it just comes naturally after a while. And then faculty, you know, with other jobs that I've had, I feel like I've never gotten the support and understandingness as I do now within SI. So I think just the environment makes you want to work harder.
Yeah, you covered a lot. So I think a lot of it's interesting too, because like, and it kind of stems maybe from maybe your even earlier interest in education of it, because I think that shows, and I think even SI lets you kind of dabble with that a little bit more. But the way I think you broke down a course, right, and you have a good working relationship with Dr. Fellows, so I think it helps in her also giving you a space to give her feedback, right, and to have a discussion, and it's not just, because you can also have faculty that are not willing to change things. So I think it's great that she seeks feedback and welcomes it from you as well, and gives you a space to do that. And yeah, I think you also touch on a big one, right? Like you talked a lot about, or you talk about the fear of asking for help, or it just being out of your comfort zone. I think that's still very much true and ties a lot to imposter syndrome, right? You go into a position and you're like, oh, if I ask all these questions, like, I feel like people will always say like, oh, I don't want to bug you. I feel like I send you too many emails, or like they're doing their own thing, so I don't want to go and bug them. And so what do you think, or I guess if you're giving advice to other leaders, maybe new leaders, that would kind of help with getting over that? Because I feel like we all know that like asking for help, like I feel like SI kind of pushes you to collaborate a lot, but it's still difficult, where sometimes people are struggling even in this position, and maybe don't seek out like mentors or other leaders?
So I think with like new SI leaders, I don't blame them because I've been in that position, and I think most of the responsibility is on returners. I think it should be the returners
getting called out. Yeah.
I think it should be the returners that like are kind. You know, it can start with just like conversations. Yeah. How's your day? Okay. Checking in, because you know, like you were once in that position, and you know how overwhelming and new everything was at one point. So I think I even pushed myself this semester to kind of do that with it. Like I'm in the learning center a lot more compared to last semester. I was taking like 20 units. So just that flexibility of being able to be here and check in with new leaders, I think it's been fun. And that also like lets them know like, hey, I'm not going to be judged, or like they're not going to be at me because I'm new. Yeah. And I think that is just really the most important part, just being a leader. Yeah.
Setting the example, right? I mean, I think that our team, SI is successful because of our leaders, right? And I think for me, I think about it, it's like a trickle-down effect, right? Like the way, if somebody enjoys their workplace, feels valued at their workplace, like that in turn also is the kind of service that they give their students as well. So I think building a community is something that I know our team strives to do. And like, there's always people joining the team, leaving the team as well. So yeah, I'm glad you kind of touched on that. So what would you say in your experience being an SI leader, if you had to highlight maybe some of the skills that you've either gained or strengthened in either, you know, in this position that you can see yourself transferring, could be with your other position currently with UCSF, or that you would be able to kind of take from SI?
I think a big part of it was like instruction delivery. I feel like I've always done like what other people want me to do, and I think SI just gave me more opportunity to be the leader, to advocate for people, to take everything into consideration, and be the person that, you know, you wish that you would have in your life. Like I had a really good mentor throughout my entire high school experience, and I think just giving back is really important. And there's just so much that I've learned from SI. It's hard to pinpoint one thing. You know, I could say, a whole podcast. I know, a whole other side episode. And public speaking, I think, like, I wanted to always say that I was good at it, but internally I was always like pounding. Like my heart was always pounding out of my chest. So just being able to be vulnerable, diving in head first with things. You know, SI was the first thing that I was like, okay, this is crazy, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, it is. You know, crazy. To me, like, it's crazy, I'm gonna do it. So after that, I was like, okay, why stop here? I applied for an internship over summer, got into there, and it just like doors kept opening. Right, and so,
it's you putting yourself out there.
Yeah,
and things are happening. For you. There you go. That's awesome. Okay, what would you say is some of the best advice that you've received?
I think someone told me once that the people who deserve to be in the room are the most deserving people in the room are the ones that fought to be there. So I apply that with everything I do. You know what I mean? So future physician, you know, like, it's not the money that should drive you. It's not, you know, like, why do it for the money? There's so many other things that you could do and even get more money from. Or, you know, the title, you know, what does that give you? Like, you know, like, just the purpose behind what you're doing. What was the question again?
Best advice you've received.
Best advice, my bad. I went into a loophole. No, so yeah, just working hard. It'll get you far. Yeah. Putting yourself out there for sure. So, all right. So let's go a little bit beyond the sessions now. So you mentioned you work on cars. Okay. So if you guys need a mechanic,
Go to Analeigha. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I actually got into cars because of my boyfriend. It wasn't even something I like really glanced twice at before. Okay. I think why I like it so much is because I don't have to use my brain. It's like my hands. And I've never done something like that before, where you like literally I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's just like blue collar kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I've always been really good with the books and at school.
But this gets you out of your brain.
Yeah. Okay. So learning something new, something completely different, I think that's interesting. Yeah. And then it just looks good. You get to have fun. Yeah. I think that's what that
you don't get ripped off.
Yeah. Yeah. Premium air.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't get ripped off. You learn something, and then like driving your car feels even better. And then
because you worked on it.
Yeah. And then you can make it look however you want. You can make it ride however you want.
Okay.
And then
you're like customizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give us an example of what when you say like, oh, I work on a car, like what is that? Like what have you done?
Okay, so I changed all of my suspension because it's a 2008.
Okay.
So like lower control arm, upper control arm, ball joints, all of that. Put coilovers, got an exhaust.
That's like top level. I'm like do an oil change.
Yeah, that's necessary too.
Yeah. I'm like I know how to change a tire, do an oil change, but just okay.
Oil change, transmission fluid. You got to make sure that's good because it's 2008. It's pretty old. Got a lot of like body work too, like a new bumper, lid.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's Rega Masters.
What is that even?
It's my dream wheels.
Okay.
Worked hard for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Dang.
And they never go down in value, so if I want to sell them, I can get my money back.
Oh really?
Market. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they take like
dang.
A
Next
year
time I need to do
get.
something to my car, I'm just gonna send it your way. But if something happens to me on the road, you're responsible.
Make sure your lug nuts are tight.
Yeah, I know. No, that's incredible. I think also too. Yeah, I don't know if many people would have known that if we didn't ask you. So,
yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of wrap up with some rapid fire questions. Okay. So, what's your favorite thing to eat on campus? Nothing on campus. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you are a foodie, though. I know we've talked about that. Yeah. So, I guess what's your favorite place to eat in Fresno?
Okay, wait. I kind of want to gatekeep it, but I won't. It's called Naju Tofu. It's a Korean food, but it's not Korean barbecue where you do it yourself. Like, they bring it to you. Oh, okay. So good. It's the best Korean food here. Like, they came from, like, the Bay Area. They know me by name. Like, they're like, usual. Here. Yeah. All right. Roll out the red carpet.
Okay. What's your favorite season of the year?
Winter.
Okay.
This is my prime time.
Okay. Yeah. She's in her element.
Yeah.
Dream vacation destination?
Tokyo.
Okay. Favorite movie genre?
Secretly romance, but like cartoons.
Okay. like Disney? Or like
anything? Yeah, like Secret Life of Pets, like low-key.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I have like nieces and nephews. They put me on.
I'll watch them, and my nieces and nephew are 18. Okay, what's your favorite artist? Or, well, who's your favorite artist, sorry?
Right now, Larry June.
Okay. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, read minds. I want to know. I'm curious. Yeah.
Curious, nosy.
Yeah. Same thing.
What's your spirit animal?
Does it have to mean something, or just because I like them? Giraffe.
Okay. Starbucks or Dutch Bros order?
Okay, so Dutch Bros, it's a iced Vampire Slayer Rebel.
Okay.
Or what is the one with like hecka shots of espresso?
From Dutch?
Double Torture with cold foam. And then Starbucks, a triple iced espresso with a 1/4 inch of half and half. They have that on the app. You can put how much cream. Okay. So and then just a little splash. Like count to half a second, and that's it. And then vanilla. Just pretty simple. All
right. So to put you on an order, and we got food places, and we have a mechanic in SI. So, Analeigha, I know this isn't necessarily news yet, but by the time this drops, we'll be discussing your new position in SI. So you're like, what? We're dropping that here? Yeah. So I'm perfect. Yeah. So it should be announced by then. But before we wrap up, I also want to kind of maybe give you a space of maybe what you look forward to in your SM mentor position.
Oh my gosh, that's weird to hear it out loud. I think. Well, I was really interested because my first mentor, Jennifer, she did phenomenal with me. So I was kind of curious, asking her like what it's like, how did you adapt? And I feel like being a mentor is more than just surface level to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm overthinking the answer, but just working with leaders, being able to be the one giving feedback. It's going to be new, but I'm pretty excited to give my perspective and kind of collaborate in that sense instead of directly with students in my course.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a transition for sure, but I think I think you've spoken to the difference or the impact that mentoring can have, and I think that's kind of like your experiences and or maybe lack of a good experience in other areas kind of fuel the impact that you want to leave behind.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you, but yeah, this is kind of I guess we're dropping news here, but
it just popped out.
Yeah. So anyway. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on the podcast. And I definitely know I learned something new from this one. So
thanks for having me.
Yeah.